Also wanted to ask you, interested in here from an operator's perspective, coming from the brand side, Himanshu, how do we think about the incrementality for retail media, right? Many of our peers in the industry on the brand side, how do they think about category ROAS? How do me or an operator in a similar role to me, how do we think about the impact advertising has on my, total business? So interested in your perspective there.
Yeah. I think this is a topic that everybody is talking about. Like, I'm spending more and more dollars on these retail media networks. I get a ROAS number, which is good, but would I have gotten those sales anyways? Or what proportion of those sales I would have gotten anyways, right? That's a question.
That sounds like a finance answer or a finance question. Yeah, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. Yeah.
That's true, but yeah, like if you think about it, like when you are, and let's take an example. Let's narrow it down to just search advertising, for example. In search, what you're typically doing is you are bidding on a keyword, and what you are trying to do is you are boosting the ranking of your product. You are trying to go top of the search results by bidding on a keyword. Now, a portion of your spend goes on branded keywords. A portion of your spend goes on category terms, and a portion of your spend goes to competitor terms. So for example, Nike shoes, if you are a Nike brand, versus running shoes versus Reebok shoes, right? So that's how you typically allocate. Now, if you think about it, if I am typing Nike shoes, I'm already there, or I've already kind of made up my mind that I want to buy a Nike shoe. So, and then when your ad shows up and you click on it, the incrementality, or whether you could have gotten those sales anyways, is lower than if it is a category term. If you are typing running shoes, then you are open to any other brand. You are open to like, hey, let me see what products are out there. Versus if you are doing like a competitor conquesting, like if somebody has made up their mind about Reebok shoes and then a Nike ad pops up, that it starts to become more interesting for them, or more incremental. So that's how typically people think so far. The problem is, and which is good, like this makes sense. And then they say, you know what, I will just look at my category or non-branded ROAS. So I will remove my branded ROAS, which is typically very high, $10, $15, $20. And if I look at my totality, I might see a $5 ROAS, but maybe like most of my sales are coming from branded search terms, which I could have gotten anyways. So people say, okay, let's take out branded. Let's just focus on what is my category and competitor ROAS or non-branded ROAS. And then they say, hey, I got a $3 ROAS or a $4 ROAS, and I'm great. This looks good. The challenge with that is, let's say on running shoes, you are winning top 5 organic placements, and you still put an ad on top of that. And you are considering that the sale that you got from that ad is 100% incremental. That's not true, because you have good presence on that search term anyways. Versus thousands of other search terms where your presence is not good. And if you bid on that, your incrementality goes high. Now, how do you measure that? Like it's the one way typically, again, the next evolution of this happened when people said, hey, you want to look at share of voice. Now, what that tells you is that, hey, am I improving my discoverability on important terms or not? So you track thousands of search terms, you see how your rankings are, your sponsored rankings and your organic rankings, you average it all together and get a number that I'm getting a 20-point share in this category. I'm getting a 30-point share in this category, and it is growing, which is also good. But the next question is, what is the dollar impact? As a GM, you want to know, yeah, great, my share of voice is increasing by 5% or 10%, but what is the impact on my total sales?
Right.
That's the holy grail question. And typically, this question in traditional media, people have answered that question by building marketing mix models. So what they do is, it's like a regression model that they have like this is the sales, and they do like I do print, media, TV. They put in all the ad spend. So my sales is a function of my print advertising, my TV advertising, my digital advertising, seasonality, and so on and so forth. And they build this massive model once a year, and they say that 10% is allocated to print, 20% is allocated to digital, and so on and so forth. So that's the
Right.
traditional way, like last 30 years, that's how things have happened. That works in non-digital channels because you are doing once a year and you are then allocating your budget accordingly, like more the channel, the ad types that are doing well
Right.
for you, put more money. But the e-commerce world is very dynamic. Things are changing like on a minute by minute. You can't just rely on one once a year model and then
Right.
do your allocation, like, because your competitor can bid more, your search ranking can go up and down, etc.
Not a cruise ship. It's a speedboat, right? In
Exactly,
e-commerce.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Or a helicopter or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call
Yeah.
it, right? So that's and that's the challenge, and that has not been solved yet, right? And there are some interesting work, not tooting my horn here, but and other people are doing it as well, but we have used this approach of using the search ranking to say, if you improve one rank in your search or one placement in your search, what is the dollar impact that it can drive for you? And using some of these models to actually estimate, even if your category ROAS is, let's say, $5, out of that, $3 you would have gotten anyways.
Mm.
$2 is your true incremental impact. If you stop advertising, $2 is what will actually accrue to it. Now, there can be very interesting things that you can start to do with this. If I can actually truly tell you that for $1, not ROAS, but you actually $2 of your sales are impacted by this, you can start to do your optimizations based on that, because this number also is fluctuating based on your competitor activities, search rankings, etc. Then you can, in real time, rather than optimizing on ROAS, or just, you can start to optimize on this incremental number, where your campaigns or keywords where your incrementality is increasing. Let's put more dollars behind that. And for the first time, you can then see, if you do that, did my total sale increase or not? And
Right.
what is the impact on my total sales? And if that problem gets solved, that's when your marketing and sales team can come close together and then work with a single metric of incrementality and total sales. And that is the next level of evolution that we are seeing.